Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, Biz Bash babes! Welcome back for Q and Cake number 12, our dedicated Q and Cake episode for all things shipping. So this is especially... I just shipped my bed. You remember those ads?
I just shipped my pants.
Oh, so funny. Those ads are the best. Oh, so this is kind of like almost like Get Shipped Done Part 3 in a way, because it's all about shipping. And we basically just went on Instagram and asked, like, what questions do you guys have about shipping? Let's do a whole entire Q and Cake about this. So some of y'all's questions have probably undoubtedly already been answered on our previous 2 episodes, Part 1 and Part 2 from earlier this month. But we did go through and pick some out that we were like, hey, maybe we didn't answer these specifically. So we're kind of going to do like a, what do you call it when you do them kind of like quick?
I don't know. Machine gun round. I don't know.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Exactly.
And also, you guys, I forgot to write down everyone's names of who asked the question. So that was my bad. So your name is not attached to your question, but I'm really sorry. That's my bad. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's why I said we just like grabbed them from Instagram. So yeah, we don't have people's names. We forgot to write them down. Oops.
Okay. So let's do this because we got 9 questions, I think.
Okay.
So how much do you usually spend on shipping? And my answer to that is trick question. I spend nothing. The client pays for it at the end. Just kidding. No,
that's like the perfect example, because we can't say how much you usually spend on shipping because it's so arbitrary depending on what you're sending.
Yeah. I mean, like the average cost, like everything's based on weight. So like I know my prints, I send them at like 7 or 8 ounces. So it's going to be like, what is it, $2.76 for that rate? Like, and then if it's, it all goes up by weight. So anywhere between $2.76 is the cheapest to, $10.50 at like a priority mail and like a zone 9 or whatever. If you listen to our first one, our first shipping, you'll understand the zone thing. So yeah, it really is. It just depends on the weight and where it's going.
And then you have the extreme where I've sent like wood signs before and billed the client $200 to ship that. So
yeah, exactly. Yep. So there's so many different factors.
But exactly, I love it. Like I don't spend anything on shipping, my client does.
Or customer. Yeah, depending on
yes, exactly. Or customer. Good way. Yes. Good clarification.
Next question. What do you think about the free shipping but pricing items higher, like Etsy trying to be Amazon, for example?
I think this works really well for higher priced items, not so well for lower priced ones. So if you have an ornament that's like, I'm going to sell these at $10, and you're like, but to account for shipping, I'm going to make it like 15 or 18. That's a lot higher than the product price. Whereas if you have like a sign or something that you're shipping and that sign costs $80 and you're like, shipping is going to maybe be 15, just like bump it up to 95, and it's not like percentage wise, like the fraction of the price isn't as big of a difference. Did I explain that well?
Yeah. And I also think it depends on your item's weight as well, like weight and like perceived market value. Like a greeting card, if you're doing free shipping on greeting cards, it's going to be like $8 for a greeting card, which everyone's gonna be like, why is this so overpriced? They're not going to understand the free shipping. It's going to be harder to build that in. And then if it's something that has like a really high weight to it, or like a huge box or whatever, adding in the free shipping to that is going to might make your item priced way too high and price yourself out of the market. So I hate the answer, it depends, but I guess it really does depend. Like you have to think of what product you're selling. And honestly, if you told me what product you were selling and like the cost of it and the weight, I could tell you whether you should do free shipping or not, but it's going to depend on a lot of different factors and whether you think the market can bear adding that into that. So you're not pricing yourself out of it. But also, so it makes sense for your profit margin, and your clients too, or customers. I do, like for Etsy, I have the threshold set up where it's free shipping over $35 because I can handle the free shipping, wrapping that into my prices with a higher order value. So that's another option. You don't have to offer free shipping across the board.
I think my wax seals are a perfect example of this because my wax seals at retail are $32, which is already like a bit of the higher end of that market anyways, like the way that I price them. So when Etsy was like, hey, do free shipping and we'll promote your listings more, or whatever the heck they said, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I made them $37.25. But then that just like looked ridiculous because people were like, well, why is she charging almost $40 when so many other wax seal stamps on like Etsy and other places were like $20? So that did not work. I changed that back.
Okay, so your wax seals were already like a higher cost than most of them anyway. So
yeah, I did that on purpose because they are like, you know, it's like boutique. Like it's just me. It's like my original designs, like very unique. I'm not mass producing these. They're getting, you know, like made one at a time, basically, with like the company that I paired with. So yes, I did price them higher. They actually recommended anywhere. They kind of said anywhere from like 26 to 32. So I was like, I'm going to pick the highest one.
I will do the highest.
And I did. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really does depend on your product. And yeah, so I know that's a horrible answer, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so would you like to read the next one, Elizabeth?
Yes. How do you know how much to charge without knowing a buyer's zip code? And I'm stumped because how would you charge? Flat shipping, maybe?
Well, I just can't think of an instance where like I would be charging someone for shipping but without knowing their address. You know, like
yes,
if they're checking out on my site, they're going to put their zip code in, and like if it's a person who I'm shipping something, I'm just going to ask them, hey, what's your address or whatever. Like I'm not going to give them a price without like knowing their zip code. And if I know, or like maybe I don't know their exact zip code and they're taking forever to get back to me, but I know my client lives in Baltimore or something, then I would just like look up a Baltimore zip code and put it in and get like an estimate, you know, so I can have that to go off of. If I know nothing, then I'll just ask to get all the information I need. Or you could use a priority mailbox that has like a flat rate that's always the same if you like want everything to be exact kind of thing. That you don't need to know their zip code because it's a flat rate wherever they are. But I just can't think of an instance where I don't know their zip code.
Just ask them.
Ask them.
Somebody's inquiring with you and they're like, I want to ship this. Be like, I need your zip code to quote you accurately.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Okay. How do you ship large items like welcome signs? Well, I used to have my whole like course about this, but actually I think at this point it's going to be like retired. Here's like basically what I do is I like take the sign and I wrap it in some craft paper and I wrap that craft paper in some bubble wrap and I wrap that bubble wrap in some more craft paper and then I put a heavier layer of craft paper over that and I don't actually like ship them. I never actually shipped them in a box. I just kind of like wrapped them up and like swaddled them and sent them through the mail like a brown paper package tied up with string. Like that's how they went. And I actually was lucky I never had one break. So
oh my gosh, I'm dying because like there were so many references there, but you're like, well, I put that in another box, then I put it in another or wrap it in another thing. And all I could think about was from Emperor's New Groove, where she's like, I'll put him in a box and then I'll put that box in another box and then I'll ship it to myself and smash it with a hammer.
Well, I did that on purpose because I was hoping you would pick up with the fact that I was like doing that.
I had to put my microphone on mute because I was laughing so hard. I didn't want to interrupt you. And she's like, or to save on postage, I'll just poison him with this.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I love that movie. It's so funny. Oh yeah, gosh. I was doing that on purpose. That's so funny. And because I was like, wow, she's like not laughing at all. She's like staying really controlled. Because I knew you would probably know what I was like going for with that. I put that box in another box.
I always interrupt you, so try to be very nice.
Yes. So that's how I did my like wood signs. If it's a welcome sign that's like acrylic, that's like a little thinner and I think has like more of a high chance of snapping. So you gotta get like clever and tricky with that. This is why actually I stopped doing a lot of signs because I was sick of shipping them. I hated it so much.
I mean, I remember when I shipped a giant wooden sign and I just ordered, I got a box for it, like an actual box. But boxes come in like packs of 25 or 10. So I had like 10 of these giant 2 foot by 3 foot boxes under our bed that I only used one for. But like I needed the box. And so I charged the client for like the full amount of all the boxes I bought. They're not that much. It wasn't that big of a deal. to ship that. But you could also just go to like FedEx or UPS, and they have packaging services too. I know it's pretty pricey, I think.
That's what I was going to say. I would actually say like err on the side of doing that and billing your client for it. And just make that a policy to be like, when we do signs like this and ship them across the country, it's our policy that we let UPS package them on our behalf to make sure that they arrive to you undamaged. Like frame it in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Frame it in a way where they're like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like I said, I had a client a couple years back pay $200 worth of like shipping because that's the reality of shipping things that are like huge.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, or you could just avoid shipping things like that. I only work with local clients, but I get it. Like sometimes like maybe if your business is doing like welcome signs for families or like those home signs or something, you got to figure it out pretty quickly. So, but I definitely like the idea for wedding clients of just taking it and getting it packaged up every single time. If it's like a one-off project, but if you're like having it as your product, you probably need to figure that out with your boxes and maybe only offer, certain sizes. So you're always ready with the same packaging materials. So you're not scrambling every time you do a custom size. So,
yep. Agreed.
Yes. Okay.
And the next one, wait, is it my turn? I can never remember.
I don't know, but I'm reading it.
Well, yeah, you read it.
Okay. Why do you have a separate mailing contract? Why not just add that info into the main contract?
I'm all over this.
Yes.
And actually I saw this one and was like super excited because I was like, there is a very good reason for this. And we actually touched on it in Get Ship Done Part 2, where we talked about mailing invitations. But think about when you book a client and compared to like the time of when you mail the invitations. There's normally like 6 months in between that, sometimes even longer if a client books you a year in advance. Do you really trust that they're going to remember everything in the original contract, much less have actually read it? Because let's be honest, unless you have a client who's a lawyer, like I did recently, and like she read it very carefully, most people are not reading it that carefully. So like, why have that liability of like adding all those like nuanced things about mailing in the original contract when you can follow up with them like the week before mailing the invitations and be like, by the way, I have this sub agreement. I need you to go through this. I need you to initial it. And so that we have this like understanding. So then everyone's on the same page at the same time. And they don't feel like gypped when like something goes wrong and you're like, hey, remember that thing you signed a year ago? I actually have like everything in there. You should take a look at that. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't realize this was like buried in here or whatever, because our custom stationery contract template is already pretty long. And it doesn't need to have like all this other stuff in it too.
Yeah.
Did I kind of answer that well?
Oh yeah. You freaking knocked that one out of the park. Yeah. That doesn't need a whole nother main page. It's just a reminder. And it just is outlined. It kind of just goes into more depth. Like the custom stationery contract has like a small clause on that, but then you're just like unpacking what that clause actually means at the time of mailing. So it's fresh on their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I actually might have like added into my version of like the template, because we use it for ourselves too. I might have added something about the fact that like clients who are doing invitations can expect to have to sign a separate USPS mailing agreement before the invitations are mailed out. So I do have that kind of like a little note about that in the original one so that they're not like surprised when it comes later. But yeah, that's kind of like the thought process on that. Okay. So next one, how do you charge clients for shipping, and when and how do you invoice them for shipping?
So I put the shipping costs on anything that I'm mailing directly to them on their invoice, and they just pay it directly on the final payment. So I let them know like, hey, I'm shipping this package. It's going to be $32 or whatever. And they're like, okay, great. And I just put it on there. I feel like maybe there should be more to this. I don't know.
Right. Like, how do you invoice them? Whatever invoice system you use, whether it's QuickBooks. I know some people are invoicing through PayPal now because it has more security than it used to. Dubsado has built-in invoicing. So that would be how. And when is like any time prior to shipping. Do not ever invoice somebody for this after you have mailed something. Never, ever in a million years, no matter what they tell you, no matter if it's a friend or family member. Please don't do it. Always get paid up front for your work and for your shipping. And
so you could either do just like, exactly. You could do a separate invoice for shipping if you're like, want to go ahead and get paid for that quickly. I just tack mine on to their final invoice and like nothing gets sit out until they pay it. So like there's different ways you can do it. But the point is get paid before you ship it. So okay. What's the best way to calculate shipping before mailing something?
Pretty straightforward. You need to weigh it and measure it. And one of my favorite tools back in the day that was free was Click and Ship via USPS. So you just sign up for an account with them and you can walk through the steps of like putting in the size, putting in the weight and all of that. Actually, this is how I actually sent all of my wood signs back in the day. I used Click and Ship. And so that's a great way to calculate what you think USPS will charge, because it'll kind of show you the rates when you put all that information in.
Yeah. So super easy. All you need is pretty much the destination, the weight, and like the package dimension. So
yeah, just get a cute little like kitchen scale from Amazon for like $15.
That's like I use that all the time. I mean,
all the
time. Okay. And then if you use ShipStation, they actually have a rate calculator on there too, so you can get estimates as well before you do it.
We should have them advertise with us, but for real.
Yeah, we should let them know. We need them to sponsor this episode. ShipStation, come on. Holla at us, ShipStation. Okay. Are you reading the next one or am I?
Well, I can. Yeah, I'll read it. How do I avoid setting foot in the post office?
Well, I actually hardly ever set foot in the post office. So, you either become one, really good friends with your mailman and he leaves you 1 million boxes, like the post office boxes for putting all your stuff in, or you can actually schedule a pickup through USPS. Basically, I just have a scheduled pickup every day. It's just kind of understood at this point. Like I've talked to my postman and let him know, hey, I ship stuff all the time. And he's like, he knows he's going to do pickups at my house. For like products and stuff. If you're doing invitations, you should probably just go and get them hand canceled. But yeah, you can schedule pickups directly through a USPS, and you can also print your labels from home using, Elizabeth talked about, Click and Ship, or you can use ShipStation, a whole myriad of other options to use for getting labels printed at home. Get a Dymo label printer and you are just like your own little post office, and it's the best thing ever. So, I mean, I can't imagine actually going to the post office every time I need to mail something. Like I just could not do that. Like it would eat up so much time, you know?
I agree.
Realistically, like you do need to have something in place to not go to the post office every day or something. Or if you're going to do once a week, but I feel like that's really slow for products. So I don't know. I would schedule those pickups. All my mailmen and mailwomen have been amazing. Like they are so nice. Like they'll come twice a day, like during the Christmas season, because I got all kinds of stuff shipping out and they leave boxes. Like my mailman now, when he goes on vacation and like there's a substitute mail person, he gets so mad on the Ring camera. I can see him getting mad when they take the boxes that he leaves me, because he leaves like 4, and he'll be like, I can't cuss on here because he calls him something. He's like, oh my God, they're taking the boxes. How dare they? They need to know she needs the boxes. He's like talking to himself. It's fantastic.
I know, your Ring camera's hilarious. You see everything that happens.
So funny. And he even comes by in his own car like later to deliver packages like 8 p.m. He is the best.
Oh my gosh, that is above and beyond. See, guys, there are so many people at USPS that are so wonderful. And we were talking about how everyone needs to just give him a little bit of slack. Like,
shout out to Tony. He's the best.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so next question. You go ahead and read this.
Oh, crap. I just X'd out. Oh, wait. I got it. Whew, sorry. Any shipping options that prevent dropped carts? Dropped carts are abandoned carts. You guys.
Yeah, this is more in your wheelhouse, so I'll let you cover this.
Okay, I actually typed out a little answer because when we got this.
I know, this is so nerdy. It's so cute. I love it.
So I'm not, well, I guess I will just kind of read it. But anyway, so studies show that unexpected shipping costs are basically the number one reason that people leave their carts and abandon it, which is very sad. So to prevent the unexpected shipping costs hitting your customer in the face, here's what you could do. You can have free shipping on all orders. You could do free shipping for orders over X amount. You could use those real-time shipping carrier rates. So they automatically know exactly, like, it's not like a flat rate kind of thing. It's just like where it's automatically calculated based on weight. So you're going to get like the lowest possible thing. Or if you just advertise that you are doing flat rate shipping all around, like it's always $5.99 or whatever kind of thing. But the point is you need to let your clients or customers need to be aware of all these things because these are all like different strategies. It's just the point is to not make it unexpected. So for me, the best strategy obviously is free shipping. Everyone loves free shipping. They're way more likely to purchase. They don't have to pay for that to get to them. But I do think that free shipping is harder for small businesses like us to pull off. So I would recommend doing free shipping over X amount, which can be beneficial for both the buyer and the seller because you can increase your AOV, which is your average order value. So if your customer normally spends like $25, maybe go ahead and raise it to like 35 or 40 for your free shipping over X to get them to kind of like bump it up to the next tier. So they're willing to spend more. Because like, think about it, you guys, when we're checking out, sometimes you're like, oh, if I spend $15 more, I don't have to pay the $5.99 shipping. And you're like, I don't know, you're spending more, but you feel like you're getting more in value because you're getting like a product in return instead of just like shipping costs that go to nothing in your head. To figure out your X number, I talked about the average order value. $20, stretch it a bit, make it $35 to increase it. And that gives yourself more profit to cover the cost of free shipping as well.
I mean, I totally agree with that logic because like I'll do that if I'm at the grocery store and like the Kroger coupons. Sometimes if you spend like $120, you get $11 off. Like they send certain coupons to their customers. So if I'm at the cash register and I'm like at a 115, you better believe I'm going to find something for $5 to save $11. It only makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It totally makes sense. And even if the cost is more, like you're like, I need to spend $15 to save on $5 shipping. You're going to get something. You're like, I'll just get a gift for someone or whatever. Like, why not? Yeah. So that I think is the best way to combat that. It's beneficial for the buyer and the seller. But I also talked about those real-time, like the real-time carrier rates, because that calculator can earn trust with your customers. So they know you're not just like inflating the cost of shipping. So
yeah,
Shopify offers that.
I love that about Shopify so much. Squarespace is a huge pain in the butt when it comes to it does not offer anything like that.
I know. Yeah. And Shopify definitely has a lot more options. So, and yeah, you can set up a little free shipping profile in there so that, so you can do orders over whatever amount. And it's so great. So great, you guys. So mine's over $50. I said 35 in the last one, but that was on Etsy. I'm sorry. I got confused. So Etsy, it's free shipping over 35 because Etsy promotes your shop with that. And then on my actual site, it's free shipping over $50.
Okay.
And typically it ends up being free priority shipping because when they order $50 for the stuff, it's typically the weight is higher. So they automatically get free priority shipping anyway.
Okay.
Well, fun fact.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We just crushed that.
Yeah, we went through that really fast.
Welcome to the shortest episode of all time, but that is okay because
with 9 questions.
With 9 questions, but we were pretty warmed up for the shipping because we recorded one of our episodes earlier about that. But the year in review episode and Get Shipped Done Part 1 were both an hour and a half. So I think we can pat ourselves on the back and say that having like a 20-ish minute episode is fine.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah. Well, I started talking faster because Elizabeth has to go to get her hair done. And so I got nervous that we're going to like run out of time. So now I'm like, oh, like if you
no one's going to be able to times this like times 1.5 or 2 because we'll literally sound like it's just going to be squeaking if you try to speed us up any faster.
Gosh, sound like chipmunks. I know. Like if I have a thing like a time limit coming up, like I cannot function. I instantly just like start moving faster. That's why I can't like plan anything else in the days that I paint. Because if I know I have something else to do, then I just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go way too fast. And yeah. So there we go.
No, it's okay. I think we were just efficient because sometimes on our other episodes we'll like dawdle or like I totally told a story about a raccoon straight up in the middle of the episode that we just recorded previously because I was like, Cammie, I lost my train of thought and I have to tell you something. And then we talked about raccoons for 5 minutes. So
yeah, here we go. And now we're talking about raccoons again.
Oh, goodness gracious. But yes, I have a hair appointment it is time for me to like basically go blonde again. Cami and I joke about this all the time because like when you met me, like my hair's always been a lot lighter, but my natural hair color is pretty much the same color as Cami's. And we're like, this is a problem because people legitimately will not be able to tell us apart. Which by the way, this was so funny. I think we had someone mention the other day that they could not tell our voices apart. So they were like, they were like, I can never figure out which one's Cami and which one's Elizabeth. So for any of you wondering that, hello, I'm Elizabeth. I'm the one getting my hair done today.
I don't know. I'm laughing when I say my own name.
The much squeakier, high-pitched one. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
the squeakier one, though, that one's Cami for sure. She gets like very giggly.
Very giggly. I actually hate introducing myself to people because I feel like every time I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing my own name right because everyone misunderstands what I say. And I'm not sure if people just are thinking I'm saying Tammy or something else or Brandy or whatever. So I always am like Cammy when I meet people and they probably think I'm a psychopath. But anyway, I'm Cammy.
Yeah, so now hopefully you guys will know. I think my voice, I've always thought as my voice is like a little deeper.
You have a very soothing voice. Like you have a very like spa-like voice in my mind.
I'm glad you think that because I really disliked my voice for a long time. But I think that doing the podcast has made me come to terms with like the fact that other people think my voice is normal. I think most of us like assume our own voice is just weird. Like we don't like hearing it. It doesn't sound the same through a recording as it does when we're speaking.
Yeah, you have a good podcast voice. Like I really don't think I do, and that's okay. Like I'm just a little bit more psycho, and that's why my voice sounds crazy. I just do a lot of inflections and different voices, and sometimes I speak in like a really deep man voice, my Napoleon Dynamite voice, my husband calls it. I don't know. Like I just have weird things going on, you guys.
Cami for sure is the one that screams into the mic more often. So no, I'm just kidding.
That's why you have such a spa-like voice because I'm literally like a cannonball, and you're just like, "Hello, you guys, welcome."
I could if I wanted to. I could totally.
Yeah, like, sometimes you do get a little sassy. So we're not sassy, just when you get crazy, like when you were turning on the wrong street the other day and you're like, ah!
I was really frustrated. I was trying to turn. I mean, no, I wasn't talking on my phone in the car. You were actually on like my speaker, my Bluetooth thing anyways. So
yeah, I know.
But Cami was like, I for sure thought I was about to listen to you die. And I was like, I would never do that to you. Like, trust me.
She almost lost her cool back there, but it was okay.
I did lose my cool for a brief second. I was like, what is this person doing in this lane? Oh, yeah. It was a whole thing. We've seen each other at our best. We've seen each other at our worst.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We still love each other regardless. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to talk for 3 more minutes because you really wanted to get to 30 minutes because you just can't handle it being
No. I'm actually fine with it being under 30 minutes. I just we're just really bad at wrapping things up.
Anxiety building from you. You're like, oh my God, it's going to be 27. It's not going to be even.
No, I was actually really fine with the fact that even if we had ended it at 22, I would have been happy about that because the other episodes we did were so long.
I was okay with 22, but now I don't think I'm okay with 28. Like, it's like, might as well just blabber on for 2 more minutes, you know?
No, we can't do that to people.
Oh, no. Fine. Okay.
Well, okay. If we blab on for 2 more minutes, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, you know what I want to talk about right now.
Poll.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about this. Fine. We will talk about this. So this poll would have been done December 15th, 16th?
December 16th. Yes. We
December
did a poll on Instagram. Do you wear underwear with your leggings? Because neither one of us, I thought everyone went commando with leggings. I mean, why would you? They're like underwear already. Elizabeth's like, that is disgusting, Cami. Everyone wears underwear with their leggings. I was like, no, they don't. Like, no one does that. And then I lost horribly because all of you underwear wearing people with your leggings. Oh my gosh, I am appalled right now. Yeah, and if you were wondering which one was the one who doesn't wear underwear with their leggings, obviously it's me.
Yeah, I'm definitely the one who was like shocked when I was at the gym and we were talking about this, And I told Cammie a whole story that I cannot tell on here. It's not appropriate. But we started talking about underwear. And so I had mentioned, like, yeah, I'm wearing like underwear with my Lululemon leggings. And Cammie was like, what? Why? Like, I don't wear underwear, especially like not with my Lulus. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, we just had like a what, like back and forth for like 2 minutes. Like, who are you? I can't believe this. And so that's when I said, I was like, okay, we have to take it to the public, because most of the time when you've been doing something for a long time, for many years, you think what you're doing is the normal thing to do. In this case, Cammie thought this was like the normal thing, but I am pulling up the results of the poll right now, since it hasn't at this point been 24 hours. And we had 159 people say yes, and 22 said no, but now Cammie knows that those 22 people are her people.
Yeah, you guys, you my people, the Commando Club, what's up?
Oh, specifically with leggings.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know. Like I said, I hardly ever, but it's fine. I hardly ever wonder, you guys. It's just a thing. But I'm just comfortable.
We're really hoping, we know the majority of our audience is women. For those of you that are dudes and so out of your comfort zone right now, I'm so sorry. But it was like too funny.
Is we hit 30 minutes.
We hit 30 minutes. So now we're done, y'all. Okay. That you had 22 minutes of solid content and 8 minutes of us just talking about whatever the heck we wanted. But that's kind of like what the people love us for, is what I found out.
The people love it when we talk about our underwear. They love it, I tell you. Oh my gosh.
We're just giving the people what they want.
Yeah, what they want. But I have follow-up questions for people who are wearing underwear with your leggings. One, what leggings are you wearing? Are you wearing Lululemon? Or are you wearing something else? Because I feel like that would affect the choice, because Lulu is like butter, you guys. It's like butter, butter on your booty. It's so nice. And also, are you working out in them, or are you just like going to the store?
And third of all, what type of underwear? Because I think that makes a difference.
And what type of top are you wearing? There's so many things. Oh my gosh! But because we're like, anyway, let's end this before we get crazy and everyone.
Someone's going to leave a review for sure. It's going to be like 1 star. This was the most unhelpful podcast ever. They just talked about underwear the entire time.
So if you, maybe don't leave us a review today.
No, we're good. We're just going to end this episode as is. It is what it is. Like I said, we provided 22 minutes of good value with those shipping questions, so you guys can't be too mad at us.
All right, so leave us a review. We'll probably do another poll with additional questions on Instagram when this comes out, just to bring it back. And we love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
See you soon, raccoon.
Yes, I'm so glad you did a raccoon one. I'm so glad. I'm
high-fiving myself.
Hey guys, Elizabeth here. Just wanted to hop in and talk about one of Cammie and I's amazing resources called the A to Z directory. I know that all of us have thought at some point, how did she do that, or how did she make that? And maybe you just don't know where to start and how the heck to produce the product that you've dreamt up. Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, and it is actually a yearly membership that is a one-stop shop to every supplier you need to create anything from wedding invitations to coasters, mugs, napkins, greeting cards, and more. And we even have resources for drop shippers, where to produce a bunch of different things. And essentially, we just want to help you guys search less and create more. This resource is a really great deal at $147 per year. It also includes access to our private Facebook group, where you can ask any questions you have and get the answers you need at the drop of a hat, which is awesome. It's a really great community over there. So head over to bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to get more information and to sign up today.